And we're back with the 4th installment of Dude, It's Football. First, we'd like to say thank you. Really appreciate all the viewership we're getting. It's very nice. It feels good. It feels like we're doing something right around here. So we'll definitely take that. We would like to keep the views up. So
we did get a thumbs down though.
Yeah, whoever the thumbs down was.
We're coming for you.
We're coming for you. And if you don't want to say it to our face, it's okay. Write an anonymous email. But I need to understand why. I'd love to know. So we love feedback.
Honest feedback.
We like honest feedback. So please let us know. That being said, let's get into it. Before, need to check our non-sponsors. Clean, deodorant, aluminum-free, Curie.
Does most deodorant have aluminum?
White tea, it does. And for all you guys out there, you don't want aluminum. You don't want aluminum. It's bad for you. It's seriously bad for you. You do not want it on your body.
What does it do? What does it do?
It causes cancer. I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. It causes cancer. You can look at that up. Extra long the best gum ever. I mean, everybody knows that.
Really
Everybody knows that. All right, so a little bit of a long intro there. It's okay. First thing from last week that we want to go over is the Eagles lost to the 49ers.
Brutal.
Yeah, they did not look good.
I saw it coming, though.
You did?
They wanted that get back has no timing. It has no timing.
That's true.
And what happened when Brock Purdy went out and they totally should have won that game last year?
Well, maybe not totally, but
I think
they have a much higher chance at Brock
obviously.
Purdy.
I think they're winning the Super Bowl last year.
You can't really say because you don't know what happens. But
sure, but that offense last year was so much better than it was this year. It's the same offense, but those guys were playing better, and you can't tell me it's not true. Debo was a different man last year.
Debo had 3 touchdowns and like 300 or 350 yards.
That was he's getting there, but that was almost every game last year. That guy was a beast last year. He was running back, wide receivers, doing everything.
I agree he was a more versatile athlete last year. But
he was a better player, though. He wasn't a better
player.
That's last year.
Yeah,
you can't look in the past. You gotta be.
Another point from last week that I'd like to go over.
Jake Browning.
Jake Browning.
He looked good against the Jaguars.
Brock Purdy 2.0?
A formidable defense. Yeah, talk about Brock
Purdy.
Brock Purdy
2.0?
I mean, maybe he is. I mean, you get the ball to Jamar Chase. I mean, that's all.
It's really not that difficult. If you can get the ball within a foot or two radius of Jamar Chase, he's going to come down with the ball. So, yeah, I mean, he definitely figured out. He knew what he was doing. He did well. Speaking of another backup quarterback, Joe Flacco. Nicely done, I got to say.
He did. He looked good. He did lose the game for us at the end, but it's okay. He looked good for his first game in like 3 years.
Yeah, seriously. I mean, to come back, he's been with him for a couple weeks, so he knows what he's doing. It's not like he just got thrown in there.
Right.
But
it was not a Josh Dobbs situation.
Right, but the veteran experience that he showcased, a lot of times when I was watching that, he didn't see a read, and he knows, okay, I'm going to throw this out of the end zone. I'm not going to get an interception. Right. Like I like seeing that from someone who's coming in. I think a lot of these rookie quarterbacks need to take notes from that and start doing things more like the veterans. Yeah. Because when they go out there and try and make a name for themselves immediately and start doing
too much.
Yeah, just doing just know your reads and do your checkdowns and do the right thing. I don't understand like a lot of these like quarterbacks. These guys try and come in and do too much. Like what was it? Aiden O'Connell. I mean,
you could have known that.
Yeah, you could have known that was going to happen, but still, come on, it was pathetic.
I think the backup quarterbacks this year though, they've been pretty good.
Okay, there's been a lot.
There's been a lot of backup quarterbacks.
It's been a pretty crazy year with backup quarterbacks, so I'll give them a bit of slack. I mean, there's a lot of quarterbacks that moved on last year.
It's not banging the table. It's not banging the table.
Who did?
I don't know. Somebody keeps banging the table on accident.
My hands are under the table, so.
I haven't moved my hands.
All right.
Another thing from last week, the Chiefs and Packers. Packers took home a win against the Chiefs team that seems to be in trouble.
I think there's some serious problems with that wide receiver room.
And now, and I talked about this last week, but they got to go in. They got to play at home versus Buffalo, and Buffalo's win or they're out.
That's what I said. That's what I said last week. I said that the Chiefs are falling off. They're falling off.
I could agree. I could go for that. I mean,
yeah. I mean, what I saw was the Chiefs going into Lombardi Stadium, and it was like negative 15 degrees. I didn't think they were going to win.
I saw some clips like the O-line. Everybody's breathing and singing.
Yeah. The air that was coming out was crazy. I mean, that's what's the difference between those guys and the Packers. They know how to play in it. So it's like I felt that at the end of the game, that's when the Chiefs started to fall off a bit, and I think they were getting tired.
Kansas City is.
I know they play in the cold, but not Lombardi cold.
Not Lambeau cold.
Lambeau.
Lombardi's the guy. Lambeau's the place.
Lambeau. Sorry.
We want to move into the boom and bust.
I think that sounds like a good idea.
What are you doing? Good.
Moving to boom bust. You want to go first?
Yeah, I think I got Nico Collins versus the Jets. I mean,
Tank Dell went down.
Tank Dell's down. Nico Collins
Unfortunately.
absolutely a great week. I mean, touchdown, 100, almost
90
200 yards.
Yeah.
I mean, if that's not a guy you want on your team, I don't know what is. So
You got a boom?
Step out of this one this week.
Yeah,
I think that's might be a good
my
idea.
boom is anybody that Jack calls a bust. Last week he had DK Metcalf as a bust. He went off for about 37 points.
How many touchdowns was that?
Yeah, that was 3 touchdowns. He stood on business. Yeah. I also got Chris Olave versus the Panthers.
I don't like that.
Michael Thomas went down. Dude, how do you not like that pick?
Who's gonna guard him, bro?
It's the Carolina Panthers. That might have been the worst pick to go against.
But there's no need for them to throw the ball constantly to Chris Olave. Why not just run it?
Gonna run? I'm
Panthers
behind a O-line that's
but
mediocre at best.
But Alvin Kamara is doing it every single week behind that horrible
When you do throw it, he is the only option. Because Rashid Shaheed is out.
Hurt. But I just don't understand why they would risk their best receiver getting hurt against the Carolina Panthers, who are 1-10, who they could beat with their second line. I don't understand
just don't
why.
see why you wouldn't. They're in the playoff race still. Why are they?
They're not going to lose to the Panthers.
Okay, so why not try and get a good win?
They are going to get a good win, but they're not going to need to be.
That is a terrible take.
They're not going to need to be forcing the ball to Chris Olave. That's their star.
Don't force the ball to him, but he's going to get open.
Sure, I agree.
Guarding him, bro.
I think he's going to get open.
And when he gets open and he catches the ball, nobody's going to tackle him.
Right, but once they go up by 20 or 30, they're going to just take him out.
And how many points is that 20 or 30 is Chris Olave going to have?
Exactly.
We'll have to see.
We will have to see. You
'cause
saw what happened last week when he didn't agree. So
Okay, noted.
All right, I'll let you get one boom.
one boom.
This week, give me Lamar against the Rams.
All right.
Lamar
Fair
scrambling against the Rams is going to be fun to watch.
If they can protect the pocket, I think Lamar has a good chance.
But I think also Lamar scrambling against the Rams is going to be just easy because I don't like the Rams.
It is
D-line.
also supposed to. It's going to pour this weekend.
I know, and it's
It
the
is
one
gonna
game
pour
I'm
on
going
Sunday.
to, and it's going to be pouring raining.
Yeah.
Well,
And we
I
know how
activated
well-
Keaton Mitchell off the bench this week, so
He
hopefully
has brought in Keaton Mitchell.
And we know
see
how
how that goes
we
for my
know how
fantasy
well
team.
Lamar runs in the rain with his cleats.
He doesn't run very well in the rain.
Yeah, I know.
His cleats.
Is that your point?
Was that sarcasm?
I
Moving
think
to
he
bus.
slips all over the field.
Moving to bus.
Yeah, we keep him the bus.
Justin Herbert again versus the Broncos.
I think Justin Herbert, absolutely terrible week. I mean, I'm out of playoff contention in 2 of my leagues, so put up 7 points. It's unbelievable. Can't have that from a quarterback.
And the Broncos defense is pretty good. They are. They're keeping a team with a not so good offense in the playoffs.
Talk about Surtain this year. He sucks. He does. Everybody's
Do you have
like,
any
"Ooh."
numbers to back that up?
Didn't he
The-
get hurt
the-
last week? I'm pretty sure too.
The 5 times he's been scored on it.
All season?
No, like in the first 3 weeks, or the first 3 or 4 weeks I saw he's been scored on 5 times. I mean, he's not a good corner.
I mean,
I agree.
don't
Last
have
year he
numbers
did
to
play
back that up.
better.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, we can all. Everybody knows this happens every single year. There's a corner who's like the 3rd string corner. Then he goes out, gets a couple interceptions. Everybody's like, oh, he's the best corner. Then the next year he goes up against the best receivers and he gets cooked.
So what's
Gerard
your opinion
Bland
on
next year?
Darren Bland? Because
It's already happened this year. That's the issue. Usually you got to wait a year for it to happen. The issue is this year the Cowboys put a bunch of faith into a. He was not even drafted. They gave this guy a chance. He got a couple
He
lucky.
proved his point.
he
proved
has
his
the most
point.
pick sixes in NFL history.
I know, but that was my point last week. But then once he goes up, I mean, what are they doing putting him up against DK Metcalf, the strongest, biggest wide receiver? See, this is the thing. I didn't think that he was going to be guarding DK Metcalf.
Who was?
Who
Stephon
did
Gilmore?
you think would be?
Stephon Gilmore. I don't understand why they put Bland, or whatever his name is, on DK. I thought if Stephon Gilmore was on DK, he would do nothing. So, I mean, bad take.
Stephon Gilmore
I'll take
did
it on the
fall off.
chest. Bad take.
Yeah,
But
Stephon Gilmore is
no, Stephon Gilmore is still a great corner.
He's
I don't.
he's above
he's
average.
a good corner.
No, he's
he
a
is
great-
not a great corner.
But he has He is someone you would want to have on DK. Why are you putting a rookie who has interceptions against DK? DK doesn't get intercepted against.
I think if you put Stephon Gilmore against DK Metcalf
Not worse than Bland. Bland was getting beat all game.
Yeah, but
he looked
he's
horrible.
just way more physical than
An old speed up Stephon Gilmore.
Yeah, like
Bland's more physical than Gilmore.
no, I'm saying Metcalf. Like if you put
Right, but Metcalf
against,
is more physical than Bland.
Do you think you'd rather have an old, like more technique skill?
Yes,
guy
against a bigger
more
guy.
than
No, just
You're
so
digging
that,
yourself
listen,
into a
no,
hole
I'm
here.
not.
You
Listen,
are.
because when you have a veteran like that, he knows how to get him into the safety help and stuff like that. So when you have this rookie who's high off of his ego with 5 interceptions and he got cooked, I just don't understand putting some. He's like 5 inches shorter than him. They just kept throwing. It didn't even matter if he was on him. DK's just going to bring it in and shrug him off. But he was also getting beat on route running. So it was just a pathetic performance by the Cowboys defense. At start them, they get negative 3 points. It happens every single week.
Guess he's got a point there.
All right, we're moving on to waiver wire now. Go ahead.
I have Ezekiel Elliott. Ramondre Stevenson's out.
Yeah, I don't like that at all.
I think Ezekiel could
He's
be
playing Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
a good pickup. He's a good pickup. You wouldn't
For what? You're not going to start him.
You need a backup running back, or maybe a backup flex who's going to go in.
Let me
He's
paint
not
you a
gonna
picture.
get
8 to 10
Let me paint
points.
you a picture here. You're trying to get into the playoffs. You're the 7 seed. You got to be the 6 seed to get in the playoffs. You're going to put your trust in Ezekiel Elliott.
I'm not
He's the
saying
last guy
I'm not saying he's going to
With-
take you over the hump.
You don't even know who the quarterback is.
So what's the point of bringing him in?
I'm not thinking he's going to take you over the hump. He's going to be a guy that you can have
What
on
is
your
the
bench.
point?
And if somebody goes down, like Tank Dell just went down, he's gonna go in. He's gonna get you 8 to 10 points, and you're not gonna complain about it.
Ezekiel Elliott is not even going to scrape 5 points.
I would
against
say
the
you
Pittsburgh
have to
Steelers.
be in a 12-man league to want Ezekiel
I
Elliott.
agree. I agree.
Okay, maybe that's true, but I think he's not. It's not the worst thing that's gonna happen to your team this year. It's not the worst thing.
It may just be. What if he goes out there and fumbles 3 times?
And he
don't
does
think that will
fumble.
happen.
He does
He
fumble.
does fumble. He's always had an issue with carrying the football.
It's not gonna happen.
I mean, with
He
Bailey
is-
Zappi,
Ezekiel
He's-
Elliott
he's-
over 12 points. This
He
week.
is not even a shadow of
you're
his old
taking the
self.
over on 12 points.
I am.
That I would.
I
be
would
willing
bet
to
you
bet
$100 against that.
$5. You know
105. I didn't shake on that. Just 5.
Just $5.
My pick this week, I'm going to take Brandon Cooks because he's just been performing, and it's every other week he'll get a big game, and then the week before that it's like 10 or 15. So he's a really good wide receiver 3 option if you want to run him at the flex. I have him. I like him. Bring him in.
And Tank Dell's hurt.
Brandon Cooks is on the Cowboys.
Bro,
you need to lock in, bro.
Moving on to the power rankings. I think this is probably the worst list we've seen on this podcast yet.
Right after we had an amazing one last week.
It's like a roller coaster of emotions. You
Seriously.
go up and then you go
You
down.
go up, you go down,
Not really
and then
sure.
you just keep going down.
I'm not really sure how the Eagles lose by 20 points and are still the second best team in the league.
You might want to ask
Well,
ESPN.
I think you could make an
I
argument
mean-
for them being fourth in the league, fourth best team in the
They're
league.
still second. They have the best record.
So, I mean, you can't expect that's like saying the Cowboys should be fifth.
No, it's not. The
Cowboys
Cowboys
have
are.
the
The
fifth
Cowboys
best
are.
record.
What are they? 9-3.
10-3, I think.
No, they're 9-3. They're 9-3. They're in.
No, that was the one
Yeah,
that
9-3,
was
9-3, 9-3. Yeah, good call. Good call. You got an argument for the?
Can you actually lock in?
Yeah.
What are you doing?
That's over there now.
Okay, lock in. Yeah, one thing I
What do
definitely
you disagree with on the power rankings? Then, if you don't disagree.
Well, I disagree with the Ravens being at the 4. I don't understand how the Dolphins
Yeah.
can possibly be ahead of the Ravens. In what universe is that making any sense? And when we play them in December, we will kill them.
They did put up 45 last week. And
Against the
listen,
Washington
right. And I'm not
Commanders.
saying I agree. I'm not saying agree with the power rankings.
A dumpster fire of a franchise.
I'm not sure if it even is a franchise, to be honest.
Well, yeah, what do we? I mean, they don't even want to take on the role of
They
franchise.
switched their name 3 times in the last 3 years.
Can we? What was it?
Football
Redskins?
team.
The football
Redskins.
team. Intimidating. Yeah.
You're not
Can we get them
franchise,
out of there?
you're a
Can we get a CFL team in and let some people prove some
honestly,
points?
Let's
'Cause
have a fantasy draft.
Can we get Sam Howell to go into some other team and then everybody else just leave? Because I don't want to see any more of these Commanders
Terry
players on the
McLaurin,
field.
That's about it.
Get Terry McLaurin out of there too. Hasn't been good since 2019. I'm sick of him. I'm sick of my Thursday night football games being ruined by the Commanders being on.
I am too. Thursday night football is terrible this year.
Oh yeah, what's the game this week? Patriots versus the Steelers.
Yeah, it's gonna
Awesome.
be- I'm gonna take a nap.
Awesome.
I'm gonna be
Yippee.
taking a nap and be happy.
Yeah,
when I
and
take
to
a
all
nap.
my MSJ guys, which a lot of you I'm sure are watching.
Johnny Letton, I hope the Patriots win. That's about all I got to say about that.
Of course though. The one Thursday night game that we can actually watch and still get 8-9 hours of sleep because we have a 2-hour delay the next day. It's horrible. It just happens every year. It happens every year. It happens every year. I'd like to talk to the schedule maker. I'd love to
I would as well.
get something figured out.
But it's impossible to predict how this is going to play out 15 weeks ago. When they're making the schedule and you're like, all right, I have Steelers, Patriots, week 14. How are they supposed to know
Nobody
that?
thought the Steelers or the Patriots were going to be
I mean,
good this
they were
year.
both. They're always. I mean, for the
They're
past
both
5 years,
supposed to be
expected
mid.
exactly.
Right.
So
But
that's not a team you want.
Two
to
mid
be.
teams is better than 2 terrible teams playing each other.
But the terrible teams at the 1 o'clock.
And at the end of the day,
Who wants to watch?
But listen, at the end of the day, the Steelers are still a terrible team. Their record is just 7-3.
7-4.
7-4.
7-5. Yes, they lost to the Cardinals last week.
They're still a terrible team.
They were awful.
They're
when
not.
Kenny Pickett went down, it's just not.
Yeah,
good.
they're nowhere near a good team. They're a terrible team.
They weren't projected to be a terrible team, though.
They were spread. I would say most people had them losing the AFC North.
Yeah.
But not by much. Mike Tomlin is still their head coach.
Yeah,
I don't know if he's going to be there soon.
Yo, you got to give props to him to what he's done.
He
with
has
this
never
team.
had a losing
know.
season.
Through
I
12
know,
weeks
but-
or through 13 weeks, 7-5
Okay.
with this team.
That's
impressive.
It's impressive, but what is he winning?
I mean,
He's
nothing.
winning football games.
But he's not winning anything.
But he's
important.
not going to go into the playoffs. He's not going to do that. But
I think he'll
he
make
is-
the playoffs.
you think the Steelers make the playoffs?
No. They're
I-
7-5. They just dropped to the Cardinals. They're not making the playoffs.
But I mean, who else is going to make the playoffs over? Because listen, you got
Texans.
the Browns who aren't going to make the playoffs. The
Texans.
Texans, whose number one wide receiver just went down for the season.
The Colts.
I don't
Colts,
think.
who Gardner Minshew, although I love the man, is their quarterback and will probably not get them very far into the playoffs.
He's not bad.
The Broncos, who are 6-6. Thank you, Quinn.
I think I'm going to keep that.
Why not? All right, moving on into the updates category. You know, one of our favorites. Trevor Lawrence sprained ankle.
Made him walk off the field.
Yeah.
Did you see that?
Let that sink in.
Let that sink in.
He was hobbling
I've
off the
wanted to do
field.
that since the first time I
hobbling
watched
off the
this.
field, and we're gonna make him walk. I mean, tell me you're like a horrible.
He's supposed to be your franchise quarterback.
Yeah,
I don't
that's what I'm saying.
understand
Tell
why.
me-
I saw a meme. They have pools in the stadium, but they don't have enough money to get a cart for the star player to get out of the stadium.
I don't understand.
Yeah, it's interesting.
They do have non-turf field though. I mean, that's plus for the Jaguars.
Yeah, plus. That's definitely a plus. Cincinnati is absolutely thrilled with Jake or Josh or something Browning.
I mean, they're thrilled with him, but they'd rather have Burrow.
Let's
be
be
real.
real.
Let's
I
be
mean,
real.
You're
here.
gonna
They'd
give him a
rather
little bit
have
of props, but at the end of the day, you're not Joe Burrow.
Right.
You're not that guy,
Joe
pal.
Burrow.
Trust me.
Joe
You're
Burrow.
not that guy.
Okay. Zach Wilson wants to come back.
Let's put the paper down.
Zach Wilson would like to come back.
What is this controversy we have going
yeah.
on?
No, I
I've
don't
heard-
really understand.
I've heard Salah wants him to come back. Zach wants to come
You know,
back.
what I think we're gonna do? We're just gonna cut it because who cares about the Jets? Move on. Kenny Pickett's gonna have surgery on a high ankle sprain. Could we see the same thing with Trevor Lawrence?
That means Lamar is the only true quarterback one in the AFC North.
And that doesn't really matter because I think
Ravens.
we knew 4 weeks ago that the Ravens were winning the AFC North.
I think we knew in the beginning of the season. Honestly.
I mean,
think we did.
They were certainly the favorite. Yeah,
I agree.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, though. He looked very
he
good.
did
He
look
looked great.
really impressive.
Looked great.
You want to talk about a franchise quarterback? I was hating on him. I was wrong.
What was he? D2?
He was D2.
No,
he was
that's
D1.
trade.
Utah State. He went to Utah State.
It's a very low D1
Yeah.
school.
yeah.
I seriously don't understand where these quarterbacks come from. They just spawn.
They do.
The big guys from Georgia, Alabama, they never go anywhere.
Well, C.J. Stroud's going somewhere right now.
Okay, he's breaking the curse though.
Yeah.
The Ohio State quarterback curse is bad, though.
Yeah, it is.
They're either. Okay, I can't say it.
One of my hot takes I'd like to. Hold on. Here. One of the hot takes I'd like to get off my chest. I don't think that this Detroit Lions defense is going to be able to carry them in the playoffs. I think they're a liability. I don't think that defense is going to be able to hold up in the playoffs.
See, I
I
would
think the
agree.
defensive line is very good, but everything beyond that is.
Yeah,
in
but I don't think a
shambles.
D line is enough.
No,
in the playoffs.
defensive line is definitely not enough.
I don't think it's enough.
I would agree, but it also depends on who you plays. Like right now, they're slated to play the Vikings. Like that defense could hold up against the Vikings.
Not against Justin Jefferson.
Actually, first week back from injury, though, maybe.
I mean,
They're not playing him the
well,
first
yeah,
week back from the
yeah.
playoffs. The playoffs are like 4
No,
weeks.
from injury. Justin Jefferson, first week back from injury.
They're
They
not
don't
playing
play
him first week
him.
back from injury. Wake up, bro. We're talking about the playoffs. They're projected to play the.
What are you talking about?
No, listen. We were saying they
Oh,
were
I didn't know
projected
playoffs.
to play the Vikings in the playoffs.
In the playoffs.
I'm keeping that.
Golly.
Please,
Comprehending that.
please do.
Yeah,
I
don't
mean,
look at
they
this.
were up 21-0 on the Saints, and it was a close game at the end.
Yeah.
And Jameis Winston came in, and that kind of turned
That's
things
what
around.
yeah. That's what happens when you have Alvin Kamara, though. Anything can happen.
All right.
And Chris Olave.
And
but
Chris,
yeah.
and Chris
Alvin
Olave.
Kamara. Alvin Kamara.
And I mean, if
And
you watch
Alvin
that game,
Kamara.
Chris Olave was really the
He
only one
was,
that kept.
and he
him
made
in
some
the game.
amazing catches.
He did make some amazing.
Did you see the
That's why I
backside
think
catch
I think-
where he was underthrown and he somehow turns his head around, backs up, and lays down to make this?
I think
Crazy.
he'll do a pretty good job next week, too.
I think we should roll that
That's-
clip.
roll that
I
clip?
think we will
Roll that clip.
Roll that clip.
Carr floats one. Olave underthrown. Olave comes back and makes the grab, saving Carr.
Playoff picture. You want to talk about the playoff picture?
I want to go over the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, you know,
You mean that fraud franchise?
No, not a fraudulent franchise. I think they're a decent franchise. I think they should stick with Kyler. I don't think they should send him off.
That's something that I could agree with. I think
they should keep.
Where do they go with that high pick then? Do they go to
trade
protect Kyler?
I think you trade it.
To protect Kyler or to give him a weapon? Or I mean, Hollywood Brown is a wide receiver 1.
Right. And that's got to be a problem that's needed to be fixed.
Marvin Harrison probably fits in a little better than Hollywood Brown.
I don't think they'll get Marvin Harrison.
You think he'll be gone by then?
I think the Bears will probably get him.
Or the Bears could take a tackle and protect him.
Well, they get 2 picks because they get
the
Panthers.
You're right.
The thing is, I don't think that the Cardinals should waste a pick on a line, considering just how much Kyler scrambles. Because that's part of his game.
But then you can't run.
But that's part of his game.
Right.
But then
you need
James Conner has found a way to run. With
every
Arizona
good
Cardinals
NFL
line.
franchise has a decent line that can run the football. You
But
can't win a game without.
I agree,
without
but I don't
football.
think that franchise needs offensive weapons. They don't have them.
Right, and I think we're agreeing here that they need to get.
But you cannot waste that pick on a line.
I
can
would,
get line anywhere
I would agree
in the draft.
too, or maybe a defensive player because their defense isn't good.
They have Simmons though. He's great.
No, they traded him.
Oh, they traded Simmons.
Yeah. To the.
No, I thought he went from the Giants to the Cardinals. Yeah.
No, Cardinals.
I think he went to the Cardinals.
Cardinals
to
to
Giants
Giants.
for like a 5th round pick. Yeah, I'm not sure what you're doing there, Arizona.
Buda Baker.
What has happened to that guy?
Ever since he tackled DK.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
Got
he
chased
lost
down
the
by
confidence.
DK.
Yeah.
He did.
I haven't heard of him since.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah. Wait, what?
Playoff picture.
Okay.
This is perfect
Yeah,
time.
we'll take a look at the playoff picture here. Eagles at the 1, Niners at the 2, Lions at the 3, Falcons at the 4.
That's that terrible NFC South division.
Okay, right. Not sure how that guy still has a job, but put a picture of him up for me, please. That guy is not a real human. He is implemented by the government.
Arthur Smith.
Arthur Smith is
I mean,
not
with a
real.
name like that, he's
Yeah,
gotta
exactly.
be a robot.
Arthur Smith, really?
And
Did they think they were going to fool us?
It's really sad because this is 2 years in a row that the Cowboys will get a free win in the first round of the playoff.
But it's their year to make a push in the playoffs. Not win the Super Bowl. It's their year to make a push.
I just don't
in the
think
playoffs.
so, but we'll see.
I mean, they're not going to beat the Falcons.
I think they destroy the Falcons.
Oh yeah, they will.
But I think they play either the Niners or the Eagles next game.
And they played both of them and lost badly to both, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, they didn't lose terribly to the Eagles.
It was also early in the season.
It was 2 weeks ago.
They play this week.
No.
They play again
They play this week, and it'll be a real test.
That will show.
That'll show you how far they've come.
That'll give us.
That'll show you if they're contenders because
That'll
they
tell
still
us-
have not beaten a team above 500.
Yeah, that will tell us fraud or not.
Right, it will.
And once it's done, I have a feeling they'll be on fraud watch. I think they will.
We're gonna hold you to that.
Right.
I'm not saying I disagree with that, but we're just gonna.
I'm not contradicting
We're just gonna
myself,
hold you
it's
to
just-
that.
I just have
Packers in the 7. They snuck in. Very interesting.
we
Jordan
predicted that
Love is
last
starting
week.
to heat up. If they get Aaron Jones back and he gets healthy, that Jack
Aaron
doesn't like
Jones.
that
because I drafted him high in fantasy,
and he didn't do
and he's
very
just
much.
giving me probably a total of 7 points. So yeah, I'm not really very high on Aaron Jones.
But I still think that is a team that, I mean, I don't know. I still think that is a team that could be a sneaky 6 seed and push the
They're
Lions
not going anywhere
in the playoffs.
If they play the Lions, they could go somewhere.
That's what I'm saying. They could push the Lions in the playoffs.
Yeah, agreed.
That's just me.
How about Dan Skipper on the Lions? 7-foot lineman.
What?
Yeah, yeah.
Absolute bag.
No, I'll put a
right
picture up
here.
there. 7-foot lineman, and he goes in there. The guy's got heart. He's not a starter. He's an older guy. Hasn't been given a chance. He's been sitting around the league just like.
His knees hurt.
I'm sure his knee hurt. He's like 285 and 7 feet.
285. He's a sticker. He's 7 feet tall and 285.
Yeah, that's.
I don't know the
probably
numbers.
why he doesn't
He's
play
pretty
guard.
big, but he play. No, he does play guard. But
That's why I said he doesn't start
right.
guard.
But yeah, when he comes in, I'm always seeing him making plays and always seeing him getting the extra hustle plays.
You're definitely seeing him. I don't know about making plays.
I definitely do see him. He's got an extra 4 inches. Pause.
AFC playoff picture. Dolphins, the 1 seed. I think they're frauds. They haven't beaten a winning team all year.
You think Tyreek Hill is a fraud, or just
I think the team in general is a fraud. I don't think Tyreek Hill is a fraud.
Where
I think
is
team
the
in general-
fraudulent part of that
Hill's
team?
winning Offensive Player of the Year.
I'd have to do my research for that, but
Well, who's going to take it over?
that's what I'm saying.
Christian?
McCaffrey.
Yeah.
isn't it AFC?
It
NFC?
might. I don't know.
I
It might be
That
overall.
doesn't really matter.
if we're saying overall,
I still think it's Dolphins are fraud.
they're not frauds. It's just their defense.
Defense is huge in the playoffs.
I know, but
wins
it's not like
championships.
I don't know if you can really call the Dolphins a fraud just because their defense. Like
They haven't beaten a team with a winning record.
The reason that
They lost to the Bills.
the
Bills are
Dolphins'
great.
offense is
At the end of the day, the Bills are still a great team. It's just they can't usually get it done. They're inconsistent. That's still a good team.
Wow.
What? What did he say?
The Bills are still an amazing team.
I mean, I'm flabbergasted. I think I'm actually flabbergasted.
At the end of the day,
agree. That is awful. That is terrible. At the end of the day, they're sitting 6-6 and 3 teams back from the wild card.
At the end of the day, they still have Stephon Diggs. They still have Josh Allen. They still have James Cook.
What they do? You can't put it together. You're not a good team.
Right.
But it's not that. Okay, I see your guys' point, but I'm saying like that's not a team you go into and you're like, oh, we're gonna lose. Like it's like that's a team.
I think it's a tough, physical, hard-nosed football team, but
Do
they're
you
not.
hear yourself? That's not a team that you go into and think, oh, you're gonna lose.
Exactly, because it's gonna be a battle.
You think you're gonna win
No, it's
against
gonna
the
be
Bills.
a battle.
Against the Bills.
You know it's gonna be a battle.
Okay.
All right,
You don't think you're gonna win against
Let's
the Bills?
finish off this AFC playoff picture. You got the Ravens at the 2, Chiefs at the 3. I mean, the Ravens had a pretty impressive bye-week win.
Yeah.
I mean,
Just
everybody
about
they needed to lose or win.
Right.
That happened. Chiefs had 3, Jags at 4.
And I think the Jags will probably overtake the Chiefs, and I think the Chiefs will be the 4 seed.
Doesn't sound like a bad idea
I
to
think
me.
that's a bad
We got
idea.
the Steelers at the 5, Browns at 6, Colts at 7. I think we probably see the Steelers or Browns slip out of there. The Texans come in even with Tank Dell out.
I think my 3 teams end up being the Texans, the Broncos, and the Bills.
Wow.
I think the Bills.
So you just contradicted yourself again.
I'm
the only one
I'm not
standing strong.
contradicting.
Roll the clip. Roll the clip.
I'm not saying that they're a good team, but I think that the other teams are worse than them. I don't think the Colts are.
Sometimes you gotta just listen and just let it go out the other ear. Sometimes.
That's what we do with you.
Yeah, sure.
Did you see how many brutal leg injuries there were this week, though? Like
Did you see the guy in the
referee on the
in the
Yeah.
Saints
Oh, the
game?
referee.
I mean, the
I
Titans-
watched that live.
Yeah.
the
I
Titans
feel bad for
punter,
him.
too.
And,
Yeah.
and honestly, that just kind of shows you like that these NFL players are freaks. Like they're freaks of nature. Alvin Kamara jogs and falls over. It's an older guy. We can say that it's an older guy, but he falls at him slow mo, and this guy snaps his leg in half.
And it was
It was
ugly.
bad.
It was ugly.
Moving on to our new edition of the show, Fraud of the Week. Greenlaw on the San Francisco 49ers. What are you doing?
Put a fat marshmallow on
You're
the
pointing a
sideline.
gun, a fake gun at a
Fat-
marshmallow
fat
on the
security
Eagles who
guard.
no one even knows his name of. You're not hard. You're out of the game. You almost lost it for your team. What are you doing?
But he didn't because he got his team fired up, and then they proceeded to score 30.
At the end of the day, fraud of the week. They were already fired up. They needed to get the get back from that game.
I don't think they
anyways.
were already fired
fraud
up.
of the week.
That
Fraud
was
of
a
the week. We're done.
big turning point.
He's still fraud of the week. What are you doing?
I think we could argue that you're the fraud of the week with the DK Metcalf take.
So one take and I'm a fraud.
I mean,
I said 75 takes last week.
it was a
One's
terrible
wrong.
take, though. It was a terrible
Absolutely.
take.
So I'm
atrocious.
74 for
I think it
75?
wasn't even the point that
pretty good
it
percentage.
wasn't even the point that it was a bad take. It was the point that he's put up 37 and you said not to start him. If somebody would have listened to you, they probably lost their fantasy.
I don't think I said not to start him. I said I don't think he's going to do good against the Cowboys defense. And at the end of the day, I didn't think they would
Inferring
put.
not to start
I
him.
didn't think they would put Bland on him, and Bland can't guard anybody over 6'4". So I don't know what. I just don't understand. But you know what, guys, I'll take it on the chest. Bad take. Bad take. Won't happen again. We'll hit our quick hitters here, real quick. Titans fire their
Special
teams coordinator after 2 block punts and a punter injury.
And that is why they lost the game.
Yeah, they lost the game because of that.
Why they lost the game.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, I always think it's funny when people just get fired for like really tiny things because it's like that's what's gonna happen.
That's
You
really
can't make a
tiny. Her
mistake.
punter's leg is like inside out. Right
Yeah,
now.
yeah. Seriously,
Pretty
you
small.
may need a new punter. Who remembers
had
when
that
they had
punter.
when
The
in COVID
UPS
they had
guy.
a UPS guy punting for them and he was a dog.
he was
Oh,
not a dog.
oh, he was a dog.
Get the
Shaquille Leonard to the Eagles. That is a much needed addition to that defense because their defense is not very
Did
good.
that happen?
That
ball.
happened.
It did happen.
I thought the trade got that much done.
It was
it's a
it-
waiver
he,
wire
he
ad
requested
pickup.
he requested to be dropped, and then the Eagles picked him up.
Interesting.
Yep.
Interesting.
Nakua has a sprain. He will be hopeful for Sunday.
Yeah, he's been dealing with rib injuries
Yeah,
the whole year.
yes.
But I think the Browns' defenses are frauds. How do you let the Rams do that to you?
You know what? I've
I'm
decided
serious.
I'm switching my allegiance to the Texans, and I and I can do that because I did live in Texas, so I legally can do that.
Legally,
lived in
I'd
Houston.
like to welcome you to the Texans. I'm not with the Texans, but I'd like to welcome you.
You know,
It's fair.
I can't do it with the Browns, man. I just can't. I really can't.
It is a bit unbelievable. You are a traitor. You're a fake fan.
You know what? I'm not a traitor though because I lived in Houston.
But at the end of
and I didn't live in
Lived
Cleveland.
in Houston when you were like 2.
But at the end of the day, yeah, you lived when they were 2. You didn't know what was going on.
5.
You didn't know C.J. Stroud will
You
come
were
over here and
5?
save the franchise.
Right.
And
Who was the quarterback
2.
then?
Yeah, who was the
Deshaun
quarterback
Watson.
then?
No,
Deshaun
No.
Brian
When
Hoyer.
you were
Brian
2 years
Hoyer.
old. Who was the quarterback?
Brian Hoyer.
Exactly.
I don't know who the quarterback
Exactly.
on the Chiefs was then. The only quarterback I knew was Tom Brady.
Tom.
Old Tommy.
Oh, Tom.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, Tommy. That's it.
I think that's it. We're going to wrap it up. See you next week.